Did you guys know in another life we could have definitely had President Joe Knievel? I mean, this guy has the opportunity to just walk in, apparently impromptu, into a Ford facility. He can test drive the latest technology that's out there, even a brand new, totally electric F-150 called the Ford F-150 Lightning Edition. It has a sweet paint job. It may or may not have a second steering wheel. And it fucking looks like a tremendous piece of equipment, right? And it was so nice. It was a totally impromptu situation. And there was nothing there to see other than the fact that there was a picture taken at a weird angle. This is from a couple days ago. You guys might have seen this one. And as the Gateway Pundit puts it, and it's like, yeah, it looks like somebody else was driving for old Biden when he was kind of zipping around the fucking tarmac when he was out there taking it for a drive. Now, the way that he was zipping around there, hell, it looked like a whole hell of a lot of fun. Would have loved to have been able to do that as well, but that picture kind of looks a little bit odd. But then at the same time, I'm looking at the inside and looking at the interior of this thing, and it just kind of looks like maybe he's just grabbing onto the dash, just kind of looking like he's grabbing onto the console. As much as I think Joe Biden is just about a finished old man at 78 years old, do I think somebody else was taking out a gimmick vehicle for him and then just fucking making him look like he's more impressive than he actually is? No. I think that it was probably taken at a funny angle. You can kind of see it if you have it in your head that he's just grabbing onto the dash there, that it looks like the dash. And you know what, there's a ton of things to criticize Biden on, but this one, yeah, this isn't necessarily the hill to die on. But don't worry, there was a press conference today, and they definitely said that Joe Biden, well, he might be able to drive a vehicle. He could have probably taken that F-150 Lightning across the Springfield Gorge and cleared it in a record-setting jump, and everybody was there to stand and clap. And you know what? He also would have been able to just run right back around and try it all over again, because god damn it, according to the White House, Joe Biden is so physically fit, it's hard to keep up with him. Oh, I know how you fix that. You just get to the top of the stairs before he does, and that tends to throw a wrench into the plans. Here's the latest propaganda piece. White House told reporters Monday that President Joe Biden is so physically fit, it's hard to keep up with him. May I suggest a stiff breeze? White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki discussed Biden's physical health on Monday after a reporter asked him if the president's about the president's Peloton exercise bike, because there's hard-hitting journalism happening at the White House. The New York Times reporter in January that Biden's Peloton might not make it into the White House, as it has posed a possible cybersecurity risk. Who gives a shit? Talk about actual cybersecurity risks like solar winds and the Colonial Pipeline hack, but no, my fucking Peloton bike can't make the trip. This is what happens when you get bogged down in these idiots' fucking minutia. Psaki did not reveal if Biden still uses the exercise bike at the White House. He just hears Kamala walking down the hallway carrying a pillow, and he just dashes to the nearest closet to try to hide from her. It keeps him physically fit. I will say I have nothing to read out on the president's private exercise routine. She replied, I can tell you, having traveled with him a fair amount, sometimes he's hard to keep up with. I think that's more of an indictment on your own physical health, you ginger-haired slob. A Washington Post reporter Monday that Biden had built-in routines that include a daily morning workout and sometimes has meetings with his personal trainer. So he sometimes has meeting with a personal trainer, and he might do stuff in the morning. Cool. Like what? A bowel movement? Oh, probably trying to dislodge the jaw of one of his dogs off of the back of a Secret Service agent. That's probably fairly taxing, I'd understand. That's something that's been happening a fair amount, and I need to stay on top of it. So he would probably have to schedule that out into his daily routine. I understand. But yeah, like, come on. Don't trust your lying eyes in this one. There's nothing wrong with Joe Biden. He is physically fit. Mentally, not so much, but that's kind of just a common theme that runs through the Democratic Party, because did you know, if you weren't she just comes up on the screen. I just immediately got to start to just chuckle a little bit, because can you believe that you can be traumatized about something that never happened to you, not once, that you can work yourself up into such a furry that all of a sudden, you just start theorizing things that could have happened in your own mind and making up stories about you hiding in a bathroom as insurrectionists just knock down the doors, and all of a sudden you find yourself totally legitimately 100% in therapy now. That's where AOC finds herself. And you know what, just for $1 a day you can finance the mental health of a poor disheveled congresswoman from the 17th district of New York. You know what, it just takes pennies a day, okay? I hope you can find it in your heart, because her story is just so tragic. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said she is in therapy as a result of the January 6th Capitol riot, or what she described as an all-out attempted coup, pointing fingers, and should be fingers, at the Trump administration and contending it had a lot of us, especially Latino communities, in a very reactive mode. Okay. Listen, enough with the soft talk. The fact that you can't get a grasp on reality doesn't mean that you have to drag down the entire Latino community, especially Latinos. Why? Is it just a demographic that you can latch onto? Okay. Why didn't you say women? Why didn't you say the mentally unstable? Listen, bitch, we've already decoded the fact that you were blocks away from any of the action. You would have really had to do a fair amount of listening in order to hear anything going on. And the all-out attempted coup, as the days go on, literally as we continue to find out more information, outside of a couple of broken windows, what happened, right? Oh, a stolen laptop, which the FBI went all out in order to try and find. In fact, they were so thorough, and they knew that it was up there in Alaska, they went through somebody else's house to even try to find it and recover it. Oh, wow. Don't you dare steal a piece of federal property. Don't you dare question anybody who is your greater in the federal government. And guess what? Justice will be delivered swiftly upon you. But what else from an all-out attempted coup? Okay, her words, not mine. Let's figure out, okay, how many guns were recovered? How many people were armed in that insurrection, that terrible, terrible blight on human history? Okay, 400 people have been charged. It says that near the end of this article here. Yep. More than 400 people have been charged in connection with the January 6th riot. It's a riot at this point anyway, so whatever. Okay, how many guns were recovered? 0. Nobody was armed during that. What was the other thing that was running around? Oh, bear spray. Oh, actually, no, that wasn't bear spray at all. It ended up coming out that was not the case either. Zip ties? Okay, when was the last time a country and a major government was overthrown, or any government, maybe even like a treehouse city council? When were they overthrown with just zip ties and a couple of over-avarice selfie snappers and the boomers who like to put their feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk? Yeah, all-out coup. Does that sound like an all-out coup? Does that even sound threatening, or does that just sound like a hell of a good time? Yeah, exactly. So we got this fucking nut job. Speaking to a radio show Latino USA on Friday, the far-left Democrats said U.S. lawmakers effectively served in war. What? And explained she took time, which is something you can do during a live insurrection, obviously. Take the time to set aside and go through your thoughts as something was happening. Oh, fucking Jesus. After the event, she confided in fellow squad member Ayanna Pressley, who is so mentally stable she shaved her head, immediately started advocating for Black Lives Matter talking points and kicking out people who had the audacity to exercise their constitutional rights. She's all there as well, but she's not central to this story. Who told her she needed to recognize trauma. Fucking what? That must be intersectionalist horseshit talk for formulate your lie well enough that it'll at least hold up to the slightest amount of scrutiny. She obviously didn't take her very seriously. After the 6th, I took some time, and it was really Ayanna Pressley when I explained to her what had happened to me. What, you hung out in your office until you got the all clear? Cool. Like the day of, because I ran to her office and she was like, you need to recognize trauma. Okay, if you ran to her office, wouldn't she also have been experiencing the same level of trauma that you were? Oh no, you're still trying to run with your own lie. Oh, I get it. Do we need to pull up the maps again to show that you were like across a fucking freeway, that you were down the road from the Capitol building and they were trying to get in on the other side of the building across from where you were? Okay, yeah, no, I think I got my story across. But here, dumbass continued, and I feel like I learned this the hard way after my father had passed away. You don't get to fucking pull in a whole bunch of other non-connected stories in order to throw your own pity party, lady. Unless your father was trying to overthrow a government and then he got shot dead, but I highly fucking doubt that one. And even still, you might have a little bit more sympathy if you're trying to invoke the name of your father to that of the slaying of Ashley Babbitt. But yeah, he passed away when I was a teenager. Cool, and I guess it was so traumatic your mental development stopped then. That happened at a young age and I locked it away. No, you were a teenager. That's not a young age. Young age is the people you're advocating for making the decision on whether or not they can be a boy or a girl. And I locked it away. You have to live with it for years. Okay, what does this have to do with a fake insurrection that you were across the street from? Oh yeah, I'm doing a bit of therapy, but also I've just slowed down. So is the therapy over? Whatever. She said, I think the Trump administration had a lot of us, especially Latino communities, in a very reactive mode. So reactive, in fact, they voted more for him than any other Republican in the past, generation? Recalling the event, Ocasio-Cortez described how former Vice President Mike Pence was taken out of the chamber mere minutes before, something that she watched on television. These terrorist insurrectionists got into the Senate chamber. Yes, and all of them have been charged with, acts of terror, insurrection. Oh no, they've all basically gotten plea deals. Oh, of what? Aggravated trespassing? Yeah. Pence was the one person, arguably, that had one of the most important roles in making sure that procedurally the Electoral College counts went on as proceeded. Ooh, she said all of that stuff? Congratulations. 60 seconds could have meant potentially the difference between what we have right now and a martial state. What's the difference right now? In some cities, it's a martial state. Up here in Canada right now, I know it's a different country. It's definitely a martial state. Some much closer to that concrete definition than the others. You just take a look at Ontario and Quebec. And if you're a pastor or a preacher in Alberta, it's a martial state. But those two things aren't as different as you're trying to make the comparison out to be. It was an all-out attempted coup. Again, for the reasons, I don't know, when you're fucking nuts, I guess you can just make these accusations. Weeks after the event, Ocasio-Cortez took to Instagram, espousing her rhetoric and horseshit that everybody and their mother tore apart, and I also made a video on it as well because they just found it so patently absurd. And then for her to invoke this stuff again and say, oh, I'm seeking help for my trauma that I experienced, that Ayanna Pressley told me that I was definitely experiencing trauma. You know what she's trying to do? She's trying to invoke seeking help as some kind of a cover in order for her to spew her just nonsense out there. If you have something to say, say it. Stand behind what you mean and what you say. Okay? You don't have to stand behind, oh, I'm a Latino. Oh, I'm seeking help for this issue. This is why Democrats always want to push the idea of, oh, we need better mental health care. No, you need to get to the root of the problem and actually solve it. Instead of just putting a fucking bandage over a gunshot wound, which the only person who once again was shot there was Ashley Babbitt, who will never get justice. Unless, well, her family will kind of, if they get any settlement in that lawsuit, which I hope they do. Hopefully they take the Capitol Hill Police Department to the fucking cleaners on that one. But it's never addressing the root cause, and they always just want to hide behind it, or they just want to label anybody that they don't agree with, oh, you're just mentally unstable. But then at the same time, oh no, I'm mentally unstable because of the trauma that I experienced that I made up in my own head, and that really just didn't happen. Okay? If you're seeking help, I'm not going to make fun of you, okay? I'm not going to make fun of you because you're trying to make your life better, okay? That's just like whenever I see somebody who is much larger at the gym, somebody who is fat like I used to be, took the initiative to go to the gym, you don't deserve to be made fun of, okay? But if you're just going to sit at home and you're just going to say, oh, it's glandular, and then continue to stuff your face with cheesecake, yeah, I have every right to call you the fucking land-bound sea creature that you actually are, that you're doing nothing about, and that you're just being a burden on taxpayer money. Especially I can make that claim up here in Canada because my tax money goes towards the stupid busted socialist healthcare that we have right now, and then that fat fuck just gets subsidized insulin and then also gets their fucking foot amputation looked after. Now, if you're actually seeking help for the right reasons, by all means. And what are the right reasons? You're trying to fix yourself. You're trying to better your life. This is just one of those things. Oh, I'm seeking help, therefore I don't need to be held accountable for anything that I'm doing. She is the perpetual victim. So I don't buy this fucking shit for a goddamn second. This is all a lie. This is all a cover in order for her not to take any responsibility for her action, which is her modus operandi since being elected to Congress in 2018. God, I wish something would happen. I hope when the redistricting happens in New York, her district just fucking disappears because she'd have to go up against somebody else in that state. And are people tired of what's going on in New York? And we got a little bit of info on that, and we're going to be hitting that up for the third video of the day. So I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.